and Protection Act, or mas kilala as Republic Act 9147. Okay? So basically, ano po yung nilalaman ng batas? What is this law all about? So from the title itself, makikita natin that it is all about the protection of our wildlife resources. Ano po? So pag sinabi po natin na wildlife, it refers to what? To the flora and fauna. Okay? Pag sinabi nating flora and fauna, okay, ito ay, pag sinabing flora, it is all the plants, flora, no? Lahat ng plants within our environment or our natural resources. Okay? Pag sinabi naman natin na fauna, it is all about animals. Okay? Now, essentially, it is the conservation and protection of our flora and fauna in the wildlife, okay, or in the wild. When we talk about wildlife, it also pertains to those flora and fauna na hindi domesticated. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya everyday nakikita. Hindi rin naman pag sinabing wildlife, ito ay yung mga asong tahol ng tahol, yung mga wild. But rather, these are species of plants and animals that we cannot see on our houses, we cannot see in our communities typically, but rather may specific habitats or lugar sila na tinitirahan. When we talk about habitats, these are places kung saan specifically makikita yung mga wildlife. Okay? Now, it pertains or it focuses on the protection, pagprotekta sa ating wildlife. At the same time, conservation. Typically, we define conservation as pagtitipid, di ba? Conserve water, magtipid ng tubig. But in the context of natural resources and environmental sciences, pag sinabi nating conservation, it is the maintenance. Okay? Maintenance at what do you call this? Pag-prevent, no? Pag-prevent sa mga resources na mawala. Okay? So for example, yung mga endangered species of animals such as yung mga tarsier, etc., mga local deer, and something like that, we conserve this, meaning they are being protected or being kept from extinction or pagkawala. Okay? So yun po yung focus niyan. Especially those wildlife na endemic sa Pilipinas. When we say endemic, ito ay halimbawa sa Pilipinas lang makikita. Okay? Katulad ng mga species ng mga brown deer na dito lang sa Southern Luzon nakikita. So, kino-conserve siya or inaalagaan siya so that hindi sila mag-extinct or mawala. Okay? So, dito din nakikita natin yung levels niya. Yung mga endangered, yung iilan na lang yung bilang, critically endangered or malapit na sa extinction. Pag sinabi nating extinction, nabuhay yung mga hayop na yon, but because of time and other circumstances, naubos sila. For example, yung mga mammoths, dodo birds, they become extinct. They exist in the world, they exist in the earth, but naubos sila or nawala. Okay? So, this law pertains also to the conservation of wildlife resources. At the same time, the regulation in the collection and trade of wildlife. At the same time, it initiate or support scientific studies on conservation of biological diversity and commitment to international conventions. Okay? Specifically, we are also signatory doon sa excuse me, Convention on the Protection of Wildlife. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na call this sites. Okay? Or yung Convention on the International Trade of Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. So we are also signatory on that. At the same time, signatory din tayo sa isang international convention on the protection and conservation of wildlife. Okay? So what are the acts punishable under the law? Basically, una, it pertains to any person who will willfully exploit. Yung sinabi nating exploitation, excessive use, or excessive utilization, and improper utilization of wildlife resources and their habitats. So ano yung specific acts? Una is the killing and destroying of wildlife species. Okay? Except in the following instances. Okay? So ipinagbabawal ng batas yung pagpatay sa wildlife or tinatawag nating poaching. By the way, speaking of poaching, sa pagdating sa definition, magkaiba ang ibig sabihin ng poaching sa Wildlife Resources Act or sa RA 9147 versus sa Republic Act 8550 or yung Fisheries Code. Sa konteksto ng wildlife protection and conservation, ang poaching ay killing or pagpatay sa wildlife. Okay? Pagpatay or mortal na pag-injure sa isang wildlife. Okay? Pero pagdating sa ito ay sa Wildlife Conservation Act. Pero pagdating sa poaching sa Fisheries Code, ito ay illegal fishing of foreign vessel. Okay? Okay? Illegal na pangingisda ng mga foreigner sa Pilipinas o sa teritoryo ng Pilipinas. Okay? So ano yung exception or yung sino yung hindi makakasuhan or mape-penalize kapag pumatay ng wildlife? Una, if the killing or destroying of wildlife is part of tribal groups or indigenous cultural communities. Okay? Let's say for example, mayroong isang species ng halaman na nakikita lang sa bundok, which is technically a wildlife, na ginagamit halimbawa sa celebration ng mga indigenous people, then therefore, hindi sila punishable ng batas. Okay? However, kung yan ay hunting, halimbawa, pinatay mo yung wildlife for the sake of other reasons apart from the exceptions or pinatay mo lang siya just to establish their dominance, then you will be held punishable. Now, when the wildlife ay nagkaroon ng nakakahawang sakit, let's say for example, totoo talaga na galing sa anteaters, galing sa bats, yung COVID. Diba? COVID is a communicable disease. So, allowed silang patayin or hindi illegal na patayin yung wildlife if they are transferring diseases or incurable communicable disease. Pangatlo, kapag nagsasuffer na yung wildlife. Let's say for example, a wildlife was found injured. For some reasons, injured yung wildlife. And the wildlife is in misery or kahit anong gawin, hindi pa rin talaga siya gumagaling, and it's better to end the life of the wildlife. Okay? Pang-apat, if the wildlife pose an imminent danger sa tao. Okay? Let's say for example, sinugod ka ng what do you call this, ng ahas, ako mang tutuklawin ka or whatever, then it can be justified kasi there's a threat or danger sa part ng human being. And if the wildlife is killed or destroyed after it has been used in an authorized research or experiment. Okay? Another illegal acts is kapag ininjure or sinaktan mo yung wildlife. Next is pagsira sa mga critical habitats. When we talk about critical habitats, it can be the breeding ground of wildlife. Okay, for example, dito sa areang ito, dito dito ang pugad ng mga agila. Okay? Tapos sinira mo siya, which is a critical habitat, you can be held liable as well. Sa pagsira ng critical habitat, it includes but not limited to pagkakalat, pagtatapon, pagsisira, paggamit ng area for mineral extraction or mining, pagsusunog, logging, and quarrying. Okay? Another one is introduction or reintroduction or restocking of wildlife resources. Okay? For example, in the Lake Taal, siya ay breeding ground ng iba't ibang species of plants and animals. Tapos ikaw, halimbawa, sabi mo, naniniwala ka na ang janitor fish ay nakakalinis ng ecosystem. Tapos, itinapon mo siya dun sa lake, which is a habitat for ayungin, tawilis, etc. Now, let's say for example, yung janitor fish na pinakawala mo is a predator or kumakain ng mga maliliit na isda. No? You introduce another wildlife doon sa isang habitat na hindi siya intended para doon. No? So, instead that you help the habitat na mag-flourish, nakasira ka pa. Okay? Trading of wildlife or pagbenta, sell, and pagbili ng wildlife without necessary permits. And collecting, hunting, or pagmamay-ari ng byproducts and derivatives. Okay? When we talk about byproducts, ito yung bunga, for example, or yung products produced by the wildlife or the forest. Let's say, for example, what do you call this? Yung mga sap or mga dagta. Okay? Kumuha ka ng dagta sa kabundukan na wala ka namang permit. No? You get the byproducts of wildlife na hindi mo naman talaga dapat gawin. Okay? Another example is you harvest what do you call this? You harvest products sa isang wildlife na hindi ka naman authorized. Another example is yung ginagawang nido soup, no? Yung ginagawang nido soup talaga, actually, is laway yun ng isang uri ng ibon. So that is an example of byproduct and derivative. If you do not have the permit to gather such, it is illegal. Okay, pagsira ng mga nest, trees, and host plants na tinitirhan ng wildlife, maltreating or inflicting other injuries, and transportation of wildlife. What's interesting in this section, sa transportation of wildlife, mayroong actually liability din yung pagsasakyan mo. Let's say for example, galing ka sa isang bakasyon sa isang isla, tapos magdadala ka dahil ikay plantita, nagbakasyon ka sa isang isla, tapos nanguha ka ng halaman doon, tapos itatawid mo sa kabila. Okay? Actually, this is already a case in the province of Marinduque. May isang grupo ng mga plantitos umakyat dun sa protected area sa Marinduque in Mount Malindi, kumuha ng mga picture plants. Yung picture plant, that is a wildlife. Bawal siya i-harvest talaga. Tapos binaba and then pinagbenta online. So that is violation of RA 9147. At the same time, kung siya ay ita-travel mo outside, pinagbabawal din siya. Okay? Magkakaroon ng liability pati yung barko pagsasakyan mo nung wildlife. And actually, kahit hindi yan wildlife, kahit hindi siya wildlife, hindi ka rin basta-basta pwede mag-transport ng halaman. For example, yung mga binhi ng coconuts, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-transport basta-basta from one province to another. Especially because si coconuts, yan ay kadalasang nagdadala ng mga harmful or mga pest. If you will remember, nagkaroon ng malawakang sakit yung mga coconut and mabilis yan makahawa. Kaya hindi rin siya pwede basta-basta dalhin into other parts of the country or other provinces kasi malaki yung chance na maapektuhan yung coconut industry nila. Okay? So another is the Philippine Mining Act and People's Small Scale Mining. So what is this law all about? It pertains to instituting a mineral resources exploration, development, utilization, and conservation. Okay? Or the Philippine Mining Act of 1995. What's interesting about this law, prior to the enactment of this law, there was actually a mining disaster happened in 1995. If you are familiar with the case of Copper, yung Copper is a copper mining plant in the province of Marinduque, kung saan nagkaroon ng bagyo and then umapaw at nasira yung dam. Dahil sa pag-apaw at pagsira ng dam, lahat ng tailings or yung byproducts nung pagmimina is bumaha. So, na-wash out siya and the entire province got affected. And then soon after, nagkaroon ng Philippine Mining Act. Okay? So, practically, through the combined efforts of private and government sector, it provides for the national growth of the country and provides for the protection of the environment and rights, ideally. And Republic Act 7076 or the People's Small Scale Mining Program. So the purpose of this is to be able to help and develop small scale mining activities. No? Ano ba yung operational meaning nung small scale versus yung sa regular na mining or sa big mining? Pag sinabi nating small scale, ito una, pagdating sa equipments ay maliit lang. Kumbaga pambara-barangay. Kaya meron silang tinatawag na minahang bayan. So yung una, in terms of equipment, hindi ganong laki or hindi ganong kabigat. And it is, ang operation niya is bara-barangay lang or maliit lang. Unlike dun sa nire-regulate ng Philippine Mining Act, ito yung malakihang operations ng pagmimina. So under the Philippine Mining Act, what are the punishable acts? Okay? So una, false statements. Okay? Especially ng mga nakukuhang minerals sa area. Illegal exploration. Sa illegal exploration, halimbawa may nakita kang target na bundok na sabi mo parang merong pwedeng i-mine dun sa bundok. And you explore, naghukay ka to test whether kung may minerals ka ba makikita or what, nang walang permit. And then theft of minerals, destruction of mining structures, mines arson, willful damage to a mine, illegal obstruction to permittees or contractors, violation of the terms and conditions of environmental compliance certificate. Okay? So, the environmental compliance certificate is essential prior to the operation of a mining firm or a mining industry. Kasi dito makikita whether or not protected ba yung environment, maa-abuse ba yung environment, protected ba yung health and human rights to mga taong malapit dun sa minahan, etc. And illegal obstruction to government officials and other violations. Now, in People Scale Mining Act, the punishable acts are 1. Declaration of people's small scale mining areas. Okay? If in case mayroong mali or intentionally hindi mo din-declare yung isang area or mali yung pagkaka-declare mo dun sa isang area at nagmimina, that it can be punishable by law. Registration of small scale miners, award of people's small scale mining contracts, extent of the contract area, terms and condition of the contract, ownership of millings, and sale of gold. Next is integrated National Integrated Protected Area System Act of 1992 or Republic Act 75886 as amended by Republic Act 11038. Okay, so basically, the NIPAS Act or the NIPAS law, it aims to ensure na yung mga future generations ay ma-enjoy pa yung benefits ng ating mga endemic and native plants and animals sa paraan ng pag-establish ng mga identified protected areas within the classification of a national park. Okay? So, the main difference nung protected areas compared to others, unang-una, mas may ngipin ang batas. Pangalawa, mas pinagtutuunan ng pansin ng DENR yung protection ng mga areas na ito. Okay? NIPAS is a classification and administration ng lahat ng protected areas na importante sa ecological processes and acts as the life support systems. Okay? So basically, ang isang protected area ay naka-classify as such by having a great importance pagdating sa value niya as a breeding ground, for example, as a breeding ground for wildlife. Pangalawa, it also identify area that is important para mabuhay yung mga, let's say, for example, mga endangered species of wildlife. Okay? Excuse me. Okay. So, outstandingly remarkable protected areas are also those areas or places with outstandingly remarkable areas of biologically important public lands. Kung saan makikita yung iba't ibang species of plants and animals. Okay? So, ano-ano yung example ng protected areas? In Region 4A, Taal Volcano is a protected landscape. Okay? Pag sinabi nating protected landscape, yung lugar na yon has a very remarkable significance pagdating sa interaction ng tao at ng environment. Or pwede nating sabihin, yung value niya is for tourism. May kakaibang what do you call this? Value siya for tourism and economy. Another example in Region 4A is the Quezon Protected Landscape. Okay? Excuse me. Okay, so ano yung mga prohibited acts under this law? So, una, okay, destroying, pagsira, or paggulo, or mere possession of any plants or animals coming from a protected area. No? Kaya nga kung mapapansin nyo din, if you're going to the beach, hindi rin kayo pwede pag-uwi ng buhangin. Pagkakalat, dumping of waste sa mga protected areas, paggamit ng mga motorized equipments without a permit from the management board. So essentially, cannot use, let's say, vehicles, for example, na walang authority from the management board. Pagsira noong natural beauty or scenic value noong protected area. Okay? Let's say, for example, pumunta ka sa subterranean river sa Palawan, tapos vinandalize mo yung mga rock formation or hinawakan mo yung rock formation. Actually, rock formations are sensitive. Na delay, if I'm not mistaken, may delay sa pag-grow ng rock formation if madalas siyang hinahawakan. Or kahit yung simpleng pag-deface or pag-vandalize. Okay? And nasisira yung scenic value ng natural resource. Damaging and leaving roads and trails in a damaged condition. Squatting, mineral locating, or yung pagtira, pag-occupy sa protected areas. Okay? Constructing or maintaining of any kind of structure. Protected area, tapos binakuran mo, ginawa mong coffee shop. Okay? Inangkin mo parang sa iyo yung protected area. Living in exposed or unsanitary condition, refuse or debris or depositing in ground or bodies of water. Okay, halimbawa, hakot ka ng basura, papunta doon, tapos naghukay ka, doon mo binaon. Okay? Or doon mo dinala yung mga medical waste, etc. Okay? Altering or removing, hunting, destroying, or defacing boundary marks and signs. Okay? Next is we proceed with Fisheries Code or the Blue Laws, which is Republic Act 8550 as amended by Republic Act 10654. Okay? Okay, so the Fisheries Code provides for the development, management, and conservation of fisheries and aquatic resources. Okay? So, maganda ring tingnan natin na hindi lahat ng nasa dagat ay covered ng fisheries code, especially those mammals, yung mga nagla-live bird. Kasi for example, yung conservation halimbawa ng mga let's say butanding or yung mga mammals is under ng Department of Agriculture.
Boss, hindi ko pala nasama dito yung 200 na nahiram mo.
Okay. So ano yung pinaprovide ng Fisheries Code? So una, it is the primary law or it provides for the development, management, and conservation of fisheries and aquatic resources. Okay, so what are the primary laws on fisheries and aquatic resources? Response to trend of blind source exploitation. Okay? When we talk about blind source exploitation, ito yung labis or overboard na panghuhuli ng isda. Okay? Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na catch ceiling. Kung sinabi natin catch ceiling at saka yung season for fishing, meron lang certain amount na pwede mong hulihin. Pangalawa, merong specific season lang kung kailan ka pwede manghuli ng isda. If breeding season ng mga isda or nagpapalaki pa lang yung mga isda, hindi ka pwedeng manghuli ng isda. Okay? That is an example of blind source exploitation. Yung hindi mo tinitingnan, basta ka lang nahuhuli ng isda kahit lampas na sa catch ceiling. At pangalawa, kahit breeding season ay nahuhuli ka ng isda. It also addresses the interconnected issues of resource degradation and unrelenting poverty among municipal fishers. So ideally, it also protects our fisher folks, small-time fisher folks pagdating sa panghuli ng isda. And it provides for national policy on sustainable use of fishery resources to meet the growing food needs of the population. Okay? So it provides for specific prohibitions and penalties. Excuse me. Okay, so ano yung mga examples ng prohibited acts? So definitely number 1, kasama dito yung tinatawag natin na poaching. Okay? Pag sinabi nating poaching, yung illegal na fishing or illegal na pangingisda ng foreign vessels within our country. Okay, ano pa? It also includes or pinagbabawal din yung dynamite fishing, paggamit ng electricity or and such. At the same time, pinagbabawal din yung do you call this? Paggamit ng poisonous substances such as mga lasons, etc. And pinagbabawal din ang pagmuroami. When we talk about muroami, yun yung pagsira ng coral reefs para lumabas yung mga isda at hulihin. Okay? Next is Republic Act 4850 or the Laguna Lake Development Authority Act. So, what is the purpose of this law? So, this law aims to promote and accelerate the development and balanced growth of Laguna Lake area and the surrounding provinces, cities, and towns na nakakasakop sa Laguna Lake. Okay? Herein referred to as region within the context of national and regional plans and policies for social and economic development. Okay? So basically, the creation, the Laguna Lake Development Authority Act also provides for, number 1, establishment of quasi-government agency with regulatory and propriety functions. So, this authority, specifically, sila din yung nag-i-issue ng permits. For example, may gusto magtayo ng fish ponds sa Laguna Lake, then sa kanila muna dadaan yung papel. Next is under the administrative supervision of the DENR, make a comprehensive survey of the physical and natural resources and potentialities of the Laguna Lake region. Regulate and monitor activities in the Laguna Lake region and exclusive jurisdiction to issues, permit, for all activities na gagawin sa Laguna Lake and yung waste disposal sa Laguna Lake. Prevention and abatement of pollution and deputizing in writing a request assistance of appropriate government agencies in enforcing the law. So what's interesting about this law as well is that si LLDA ay may power to sanction a person or an entity kapag may violation siya ng or sabihin na natin na violation niya yung regulation ng LLDA. Kasi sa LLDA meron siyang Board of Trustees and sila din yung nagke-create ng mga rules and regulation in the management of the Laguna Lake. So let's say for example, any person, okay, who shall violate any of the provisions of this act or rules and regulation shall be imprisoned. Okay, shall be imprisoned of not exceeding 3 years and not a fine exceeding 5,000 pesos. Okay? So this is an example ng mga sinasabi ko kaninang board resolutions. So the board has the power to create rules and regulations for the protection of the Laguna Lake. Okay, let's say for example, resolution number 42. Okay? Sa resolution number 42, binibigyan ng administrative fines yung mga magva-violate ng rules. For example, pag-open ng mga emission sources or sabihin na natin na pagtatapon ng wastewater sa Laguna Lake. So, meron siyang administrative fines. Okay? Next, we go to Brown laws. Okay, Republic Act 8749, the Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999. So what is this law all about? So it provides for the pollution control policy in controlling air pollution. Okay? So ano yung sinasabi nating comprehensive air pollution policies? So practically, it is balancing development and environmental protection, sustainable development framework, holistic national program focused on pollution prevention. So this is the reason why bago kayo makapagparehistro ng inyong mga sasakyan, nagkakaroon muna ng emission testing. Because bahagi ito ng programa under it is bahagi ng control ng air pollution. Implemented through proper delegation and effective coordination, cooperation and self-regulation among citizens and industries, promote public information and education in air quality planning and monitoring. So what are the punishable acts? Okay? So for example, in Section 29, pinagbabawal ang pagbebenta, pag-import ng mga leaded gasoline. Bakit pinagbabawal yung paggamit ng leaded gasoline? Because it emits more harmful substances compared to unleaded gasoline. Okay? Another example is misfueling. Okay, so in order to prevent disabling of any emission control device by lead contamination, no person shall introduce into another vehicle or into another motor vehicle leaded gasoline at ile-label niya as unleaded gasoline. Okay? At the same time, pagdating sa air quality, this law also provides for provides for a certain level of chemicals that can be found in the air. Okay? So pagdating sa mga establishments, factories, industrial plants, meron silang suggested limits or hangganan tung mga pollutants na acceptable nilang i-produce or i-emit. Now, PAB or Pollution Adjudication Board is a quasi-judicial body created under Section 19 of Executive Order number 192, yung administrative uh, rules or positions under the government. Okay, so under the revised rules and procedures, the Pollution Adjudication Board has expanded in covering both Clean Air Act and Clean Water Act. Okay? By the way pala, kapag halimbawa na may problem in terms of mining or halimbawa, meron kang gustong sampahan ng kaso pagdating sa mining, okay? Pero administrative pa lang naman yung kaso, pwede ka magsampa sa MAB or Mines Adjudication Board. Okay? Mines Adjudication Board. Kapag pollution, PAB or Pollution Adjudication Board. Okay? So, Philippine Clean Water Act. Okay? It provides comprehensive water quality, management, and protection ng mga bodies of water against pollution. So, it protects country and at the same time providing for a comprehensive and integrated strategy to prevent and minimize pollution through a multi-sectoral and participatory approach involving all stakeholders. So, what are the punishable acts? For example, pagtatapon ng basura or pagtatapon ng basura or material sa bodies of water na maaaring magsanhi ng pagbabara. Okay? That will cause flooding. Okay? So ano pa? Kasama din dito, ipinagbabawal din ng batas yung pag-create ng landfill or sanitary landfill malapit sa anumang body of water or sa mga tinatawag na water reservoir. Pag sinabi nating water reservoir, ito yung ipunan ng tubig. Okay? O yung tinatawag din siya minsan as water funnel. So lahat para siyang basin, catch basin siya na for example, pag umulan, nasasalan niya yung water para doon siya magstay. Parang natural dam siya. Okay? Yung mga water reservoir. Another law is Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000 or Republic Act 9003. Okay, so this law is all about providing an ecological solid waste management program. So, okay. So when we define solid waste, it is a kind of waste or basura, whether yan ay commercial or household na basura na hindi harmful or hindi hazardous. Okay? So, regardless kung yan ay industrial waste, nasa kalsada, galing sa bahay, galing sa agricultural farm, whatever, as long as it is non-hazardous and non-toxic. Well, pag ano yung hindi solid waste? Okay? So, these are hazardous waste or basura. Okay? Let's say, for example, yung mga nuclear waste. No? Ano pa? Yung mga basura, medical waste. Yung mga dugo galing sa ospital, yung mga parte ng katawan galing sa ospital, mga syringe, bulak, band-aid, gasa, etc. na galing sa ospital. Ano pa? Yung mga mine tails or mine tailings. Okay? Yung mga resulta or byproducts ng mga pinagminahan. Okay, so 'di ba yung mining kasi 'di ba tawag dito pinapolish 'yan, tas may waste na pinoproduce. So yan ay toxic waste and hindi siya counted as solid waste. Okay? Solid waste management refers to the discipline associated with the control of solid waste in accord with the best practices. Especially, it considers yung magiging effect nito sa public health, economics, engineering, conservation, aesthetics, and other environmental considerations. No? Ecological solid waste management is the systematic administration of activities which provide for segregation at source, segregated at transportation, storage, transfer, processing, treatment, and disposal of solid waste and all other waste management activities na hindi nakakasama sa environment. At the same time, Solid Waste Management Act also provides although hindi siya kasama sa presentation, but I'll also give an overview na Ecological Solid Waste Management Law or Act also includes for the establishment of Solid Waste Management Plan. A Solid Waste Management Plan shall be instituted within the municipality hanggang sa provincial, hanggang sa regional, hanggang sa national. So practically, it aims for the proper management of solid waste. Now, ano yung prohibited acts under solid waste management? Pagkakalat sa mga public places. Pangalawa, undertaking activities or operating, collecting, or transporting equipment in violation of sanitation operation. Yung pagsusunog ng basura or open burning, kasama din yan. Hindi pagsiseparate ng biodegradables at non-biodegradables. Okay? Pagtira sa mga landfills and open dumps. Okay? At the same time, pagtatapon sa mga flood-prone areas. It also includes removal of recyclable materials intended for collection and mixing of source-separated recyclable materials. It also includes pinagbabawal din ang basta-bastang pag-o-open ng dumps or ng landfills nang walang permit. It also includes the manufacture, distribution, and use of non-environmentally friendly acceptable packaging and materials. Importation of consumer products packaged in non-environmentally acceptable materials. And importation of toxic waste misrepresented as recyclable or with recyclable content. Okay? It also includes transportation and dumping of in bulk of collected domestic, industrial, or commercial waste, etc. Pag-open ng construction or site preparation ng walang ECC or Environmental Compliance Certificate. And construction of sanitary landfills and open dumps na malapit sa anumang body of water, aquifer, or watershed. Okay. Republic Act 6969 is the Toxic Substances and Hazardous and Nuclear Waste Control. So, pinagbabawal ng batas na ito yung pinagbabawal, protection, regulation, and protection against toxic substances and hazardous waste. Okay? So, example ng punishable act is paggamit ng substance or chemical mixture na hindi inaalaw ng batas. Okay? It also includes din, pinagbabawal din ito yung pag-import, pag-sell ng mga hazardous materials and hazardous materials sa Pilipinas. Okay? And next is PD 1586 or the Philippine Environmental Impact Assessment Act. So the violation of EIS and the terms of conditions of ECC and other rules and regulations. Pinasan niya for sure. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So, okay, so the excuse me, establishment of environmental impact statement Act or PT 1586. So basically, it only pertains na bago ka magkaroon, bago ka mag-establish ng mga um tawag dito ng mga infrastructures, buildings, you need to comply first with ECC or kailangan magkaroon ka muna ng environmental tawag dito, environmental they call this compliance certificate. Now, bago ka magkaroon ng environmental compliance certificate, kailangan makapasa ka muna sa environmental impact statement. So, under na ang nasa environmental impact statement, sinasabi doon, para siyang report on the status or kung ano ba, una, yung magiging impact sa environment pag itinayo mo yung isang infrastructure dun sa isang lugar. And kapag pumasa ka dun, tsaka ka palang mabibigyan ng ECC, tsaka ka palang magpo-proceed para itayo yung infrastructure. Kaya nga, merong malaking question mark bakit nagkaroon ng resort sa gitna ng Chocolate Hills. Okay? So, these are the forums kung saan pwede ka mag-file ng case in violation of environmental laws. So, you can file a case sa mga alternative dispute resolution such as yung mga court annex mediation, saan pa, quasi-judicial board or quasi-judicial forums like Pollution Adjudication Board for administrative cases filed against people in violation of Philippine Clean Air Act and Philippine Clean Water Act. The MAB or Mines Adjudication Board, which where you can file your case in violation or administrative cases in violation of Mining Act and NCIP. Okay? Sa National Commission for Indigenous People in violation naman ng IPRA law or Indigenous Peoples Rights Act. And definitely, you can file case or environmental case sa mga judicial forums or sa mga formal courts like Municipal Trial Court, RTC, etc. Special courts, especially if may jurisdiction yung court dun sa kaso. Okay? Okay. So, interestingly, ito yung mga tinatawag natin na innovations when it comes to environmental laws. So, we have the TPO and EPO, which is the Temporary Environmental Protection Order and environmental protection orders. So these protection orders ay nagsasabi, it can be, halimbawa, merong isang business or establishment na itinayo dun sa isang area na may environmental significance, may ecological significance. You can stop its operation by applying for environmental protection order. So, pwedeng ipatigil ng korte yung ongoing construction through environmental protection order. Pangalawa is writ of kalikasan. Si writ of kalikasan naman is a document na or order coming from the court na almost the same purpose na ipinatitigil yung operations nung isang entity or pinag-uutos ang isang entity or government agency to protect a specific na lugar, especially kung siya ay affected ng higit sa isang barangay or municipality. Okay, for example, nagkaroon halimbawa ng mining disaster, okay, or nagkabulilyaso dun sa operation ng mining, naapektuhan yung dalawang municipality or higit pa or dalawang barangay or higit pa, the people can apply for a writ of kalikasan for the protection of the two or more barangays or the municipality that was affected by a certain damage to environmental resources. Okay? The third one is writ of continuing mandamus. Pag sinabi nating writ of continuing mandamus, it is an order from the court na inuutusan ang isang government agency to actually do their job at hindi ito malilift hanggat hindi nasasatisfy ang korte. Let's say for example, the writ of continuing mandamus sa rehabilitation ng Manila Bay. Okay? So the continuing mandamus was given to the MMDA or Metropolitan Development Authority. Okay, Metropolitan Development Authority. At sinasabi ng korte na itong si MMDA kailangan niyang gawin lahat para protektahan at i-rehabilitate ang Manila Bay. At hindi ito matatapos yung writ of continuing mandamus hanggat hindi gumaganda ang Manila Bay. Okay? Pang-apat is citizen suit. Example of citizen suit is the Oposa versus Factoran case. Okay? To which, pag sinabi nating citizen suit, ito ay pag-file ng reklamo ng isang private citizen or ng what do you call this? Isang group ng tao. Okay? Isang grupo siya ng tao. For example, in the Oposa versus Factoran, the petitioner, POSA, represented a whole class of mga minor de edad. Okay? Minor de edad and mga children yet to be born. Okay? And lastly is the SLAP suit or strategic lawsuit against public participation. Pag sinabi nating SLAP suit, it pertains or it refers to what do you call this? Action, okay, a civil or criminal action or administrative action whatsoever brought against any person or entity with intent to harass, vex, and exert undue pressure to stifle any legal operation. So, ibig sabihin lang na itong SLAP suit, from the word itself, from its definition, ang pigilan, no? Pigilan yung isang tao or yung isang entity or yung isang grupo na magsampa ng kaso laban sa kanya with intent to harass or vex the person. Okay? Let's say, for example, I wanted to build a resort. Gusto ko magpatayo ng resort. Ngayon, may isang grupo ng tao na nag-file ng temporary environmental protection order against me. So, temporarily, pinatigil ko muna yung construction ng aking resort. Until such time na nakapag-comply na ako ay may ECC, lahat-lahat, paulit-ulit nung group ng tao na yon na mag-file ng reklamo against me para mapigilan yung pagtayo ko ng resort, which is technically harassing me to stop my operations. So that is an example, and as a remedy, as a legal remedy, what I can do is file for a slap suit. And that slap suit will prevent these people from harassing me in doing my legal undertakings or yung mga gusto kong gawin na mga bagay. Okay? So let us have a little bit of question and answer. So it is the illegal cutting, gathering, or collecting of timber or other forest products without a necessary permit from the government is punishable under A. Republic Section 7, PD 705, Section 7, RA 9175, RA Section 27, RA 9147, or Section 3, RA 7586. So illegal cutting of timber. Okay, what's the answer? Letter A. Violation siya ng Forestry Code. Okay? Yung Republic Act 9175 is what? Chainsaw Act. Okay? Actual use of chainsaw. Okay? 9147 is violation ng Wildlife Conservation. 7586 is violation ng Philippine Clean Water Act. Next. The trade, collection, hunting, or possession of wildlife is punishable by okay, the correct answer is letter C. Violation siya ng Wildlife Conservation and Protection. Number 3, any violation made by a mining operation that causes pollution to the environment shall be under the jurisdiction of A. Pollution Adjudication Board, B. Mines Adjudication Board, C. NCIP, or D. Regional Trial Courts. Okay, very good. The answer is letter B. Number 4. What is the act of fishing by foreigners or foreign vessels in the Philippine waters or Philippine territory? A. Muroami. B. Poaching. C. Distant water fishing. D. Unregulated fishing. Ayan. So the answer is letter B, poaching. Pag sinabi natin, by the way, na distant water fishing, bawat municipalities kasi na may fishing ground, meron lang silang specific distance na pwede na lang paglagakan or pangisdaan. Okay? Pag lumampas ka doon, that is violation of distant water fishing. Lumampas ka na doon sa municipal waters. Pag sinabi na natin unregulated fishing, you are fishing without permit. Okay? Blank provides for the protection of wildlife and their habitats, including all species of fauna and flora, protected areas, and critical habitats. A. Forestry Code. B. Chainsaw Act. C. Wildlife Protection and Conservation Act. Or D. National Integrated Protected Areas Systems. A. D. CCC. D. C. 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 Okay, the correct answer is letter C. Wildlife Protection and Conservation Act. Kasi pag sinabi naman nating NIPAS Act, okay, ito ay protection or identification of areas for protection due to its ecological diversity and significance. Okay? So, let us have a health break first before we proceed to the next topic. We will continue I will send you the questions, more questions for your reference, no? So this ends our discussion on CDI 9 or Introduction to um, Cybercrime Investigation and Environmental Laws. So next we will have technical writing 1 and 2. So let us have a short break. First, health break muna.
Ba? Ano sinasabi mo? Makati exam na Kuya Jerry. Yan. Sabi ko maghanap ka ng alam mo. Ay, meron na ba?
Ada tayong titebong na basket. Ada tayong titebong na basket. Nakita?
Okay, so good afternoon again, everyone. Okay, let me start na po. So, apologies, I wasn't able to cover my presentation, but I have already prepared a reading material. So, ito rin naman po yung isesend ko kay Sir Kenard later. So let's start with technical writing. So I know it's tech savvy and text heavy, but let us discuss this comprehensively. So basically, a technical report writing is a way of communication that is readily, cheaply, and effectively available to all of us if we know how to do it. Now, in the context of, in our organizational context, technical report or report writing is pwede nating ihalin tulad as a life and blood ng isang organization. No? So regardless kung ikaw ay nasa education sector, nasa business sector, or whatsoever, report writing is important because it is our way of communicating in an organization. And essentially, communication is a necessity to us, no? To every person, especially on the part of business and organization. Okay? Now, specifically, a police report writing or police report is considered as a technical writing and the backbone of criminal investigation and prosecution. Why? Kasi magbe-base naman yung kaso doon sa police report. So ano-ano ba yung mga reports na ginagawa natin pag may investigation? We have spot report. Sa spot report, kailangan after 3 hours may submit mo na. Basically, 5 Ws and 1 H. Meron na ba tayo nilalagay na motive sa spot report? Nilalagay na ba natin yung motive? Actually, yung motive, if identified nyo na, pwede rin naman siyang hindi ilagay kasi usually yung motive nilalagay natin sa final report. No? So after ng spot report, anong kasunod? We have progress report. Okay? Meron tayong progress report. Now, yung progress report is depende at spot report. Okay, progress report kung ilang progress yan. Progress 1, progress 2, progress 3, depende sa gaano ka-complicated yung kaso. After ng spot report, meron tayong final report. So, yan. So, yan yung backbone ng ating criminal investigation and prosecution. At dyan magbabase ang prosecution kung ano yung step or yung next step na gagawin niya, kung whether itutuloy ba yung case or kung saan dadalhin yung kaso. So, so the success of police operation depends upon the quality of your reports. Okay? So actually, based sa mga experience ng mga kakilala at kaibigan nating nasa service, totoo na talagang kapag yung report ng isang enforcer ay hindi maayos, nasasayang yung efforts ng buong organization kasi nadidismiss lang. Let's say for example, kulang yung casework or kulang yung case folder, diba? When we are creating our investigation, nagagawa tayo ng case folder. Na kapag kulang yung case folder natin, so usually nadidismiss yan. Kulang ng appendices, kulang ng reports, kulang ng attachments, commonly na didismiss yung kaso. No? And we rely on written reports to relay information to our superiors, co-workers, and courts and other agencies. Now, although it is not a formal rule, pero para bang unless it is written, it is not official. No? In any organization, nasa police ka man or nasa civilian, no? Unless it is written, it is not official. And it's the only time na we can relay official information through the use of written communication. Okay? Now, it is said that written communication is among the most difficult to master. Okay? You always disclose something about your writing. Typically, you disclose your ability to organize information, your educational level, and your technical expertise. Kaya nga, there are some instances wherein, especially sa konteksto ng mga criminology students, no? Aminin natin na Waterloo or hindi yan ang strength ng mga criminology students, yung pagsulat, especially in English. Now, by the way, the official language na ginagamit natin pagdating sa written communication is English. Oh, unless otherwise, for example, nagte-take tayo ng sworn statement or sinumpaang salaysay, 'di ba? Mayroong Tagalog version. However, if ipapasa na natin siya sa court, the language na ginagamit na is English. Okay? Now, ano ba yung issues na kadalasang kinakaharap ng law enforcers when it comes to report writing? Okay? So, number 1 is the format. Okay? Wrong formats. Ano yung wrong formats? Yung letterhead. Okay? For example, the letterhead. No? Yung Philippine National Police. Tapos, may nakalagay pa na dito, Office of the, excuse me, Office of the Chief, Republic of the Philippines, National Police Commission, National Headquarters, Philippine National Police, Office of the Chief PNP, etc. etc. So, yung mga pagkakamali sa ganun. Now, yung letterhead, meron din yang format. No? Ano yung nasa pinakataas, ano yung kasunod, no? And then, yung address. No? So, yun yung kadalasang nagkakamali. Ano pa? Especially sa mga letters ng president na pinapadala sa mga outside the organization. Okay? So technically, memorandum yung mga ginagamit natin, di ba? Memorandum yung ginagamit sa loob ng Philippine National Police. So pag memorandum, we use it inside or within the organization. And yung mga letters na dinadala outside the organization, commonly tinatawag siya as civilian letters. So, in a sense, pag susulatan, let's say for example ni PNP chief, si president, what are you going to use? A, memorandum, or B, civilian letter? Anyone from, you can use the group chat. Halimbawa si PNP chief, gusto niya maging guest speaker si presidente. Ano ipapadala niyang letter, communication? In a form of memorandum, or letter A in the form of memorandum, or letter B in a form of civilian letter? Okay, good. The answer is, hindi pala. A. Okay. Now, the answer actually is letter B, civilian letter. Okay? Kasi, ulitin natin, yes, he is the President of the Philippines. However, in terms of format, what we are going to send to the President is a civilian letter. Kasi nga, the President is still outside the PNP organization. Okay? Another example, sabihin natin si Provincial Director gustong imbitahan si Chief PNP para bumisita sa kanyang sa provincial office. What will he send? A memorandum format, or B, civilian letter? Okay, si PD iniimbitahan si Chief PNP sa province. Okay. Alright, good. The answer is memorandum, yung format ng letter na ipapadala mo kay Chief PNP kasi he is within the PNP organization. Another question. You are, sabihin natin, regional director. You want to invite the former Chief PNP or yung retired Chief PNP to become a guest speaker. What format of letter will you send? A, memorandum. B, civilian letter. Ayan. B, A. So the answer is letter B, civilian format. Civilian letter. Kasi, even though dati siyang Chief PNP, siya naman ay retired na. So technically, he's outside the PNP. Now, if the letter, let's say for example, coming from the mayor, or gusto mo imbitahan si mayor, si governor, okay, si mayor, si governor, alam naman natin, meron silang power to supervise and administer, appoint the chief of police and the provincial director, di ba? Alam naman natin yan, under the powers and functions sa local government code. No? Now, ano yung format ng letter na isa-send mo? Memorandum pa rin ba or civilian letter? The answer is civilian letter pa rin. Kasi technically, kahit mayroong power to appoint si governor or si mayor, sila ay outside pa rin ng organization. Okay? So ano yung another problem pagdating sa or issue pagdating sa formatting of PNP reports and communication. So another one is wrong usage of formats. Yung nabanggit ko kanina. Kung magpapadala ba ng civilian letter or memorandum. Incomplete staff work. Okay? Or sinasabi natin na kulang yung case folder. May mali or hindi or kulang yung reports. Okay? Another one is dito yung ending ng letter. Hindi tama or inappropriate yung complementary endings. Let's say for example, si PNCO, si Police Non-Commissioned Officer, padala ng sulat kay Chief of Police. Ang nasa complementary ending ay sabihin na natin na for your immediate action. Okay, for your immediate action, nasa lower rank ka, ang inuutosan mo yung higher rank mo. So, ano yung pwede mong ilagay? Instead of sabihin for immediate action, pwede mo sabihin for your perusal. Sinabi natin for your perusal, for your assessment, or para pag-aralan mo and gawan mo ng aksyon. Kung urgent siya, kailangan gawan siyang action, pwede mo ilagay for your favorable consideration or for your information. No? So, yun yung isa sa mga problem. Hindi tama or hindi akma yung complementary endings. Ano pa? Maling font and font size. Okay, maling font and maling font size. Technically, PNP, ang font niya is Arial. Okay? Arial ang kanyang font style. Okay, pagdating naman sa size, magkaiba yung font size sa letterhead versus sa body noong text. Okay? So sa body ng text ay 12 ang font size. Pero yung sa letterhead, iba ang size niya. Another problem when it comes to report writing is the wrong spacing and margins. Hindi uniformed ang spacing and margins. Ano pa? Kulang yung enclosure and attachments. Okay? Minsan kulang din yung references. Because if you will see a memorandum coming from PNP, meron yung references dun sa first part ng memo. Okay, for example, ano yung reference niya? Let's say constitutional provision followed by a special law and then PNP memorandum and etc. Another one is unfortunately there are instances pa rin na may problem sa grammar. Okay, grammar and typographical errors, no? So yun yung mga common na problems na or issues in the organization. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng formatting pagdating sa pagsulat ng police report, pagdating sa police report writing. Okay, so communication is defined as the use of language, spoken or written in exchange of ideas and transfer of information. While report writing is a means or a method of communication na ginagamit in express of thoughts and ideas. And report is the nilalaman or account ng mga events and situation based on observation and inquiry. Okay, pag inirelay natin yung information sa iba, we call it as reporting. Okay? Now, report writing process is a 5-step process. So, it includes Number 1, pag-interview. Number 2 is note-taking. Number 3 is organizing and planning. Number 4 is writing the narrative. And lastly is proofreading. Okay? Sa interviewing process, ginagamit ito basically sa ating mga reports, especially for example in our investigation, sa pagbuo ng preliminary investigation, pagbuo ng progress report, etc. So definitely, note interviewing is also form of data gathering. So you will ask muna first, for example, ikaw yung investigador, magkanta ka muna ng interview before ka magsulat ng report. Okay, frequently, the first officer at the crime scene, sila yung may pinakamagandang opportunity in conducting preliminary investigation. And then, note-taking will be the basis of your report. Especially na hindi naman lahat or wala na bang may photographic or eidetic memory para matandaan lahat ng information na nakuha mo during the interview. Kaya importante na meron kang notes. You note the important details, no? And when in fact, pagdating sa language ng report writing as well, kinakailangan that you are specific. Okay? For example, nagawa ka ng traffic report. Instead of saying car, you will describe ano yung motor vehicle. You will instead use motor vehicle or the specific model. Let's say, for example, red Honda Civic with plate number ABC1234. Okay? So, paano mo makukuha yung details na yon? That is through note-taking. At the same time, you take an accurate notes pagdating sa details ng circumstances, especially during the interview. So if you take neat and accurate notes and they are subpoenaed in court, it will demonstrate a good level of your professionalism. And at the same time, it can also help you in organizing, arranging, and logically laying down or ayusin yung report mo. Kasi meron kang basis or meron kang reference. Step 3, organizing and planning. If your report is organized and planned, and it will be clear and easy to read, understandable, and concise. Therefore, hindi kinakailangan ng maraming palabok when it comes to writing. Hindi naman kayo naggagawa ng mga creative writing or feature writing para lagyan ng mga mabubulaklak na salita. Rather, what's important is for you to lay down the facts and the matters chronologically or sunod-sunod. At the same time, maayos yung pagkakalatag ng circumstances and yung events na nangyari. Okay, so the sources of information, interviews, records, searches, old reports, etc., will naturally vary with the assignment. And next is writing the narrative or the actual writing of your reports. No? So when you are writing a narrative, a report, it is not only a mere expression of idea, but also to make an impression sa magbabasa, especially sa prosecution. No? Kinakailangan malinaw yung pagkakalatag ng mga pangyayari. Malinaw or specific yung mga detalye. Okay, let's say for example, ano yung make, ano yung model, ano yung estilo ng sasakyan na nilagay mo sa report, ano yung description ng suspect, ano yung pangyayari during when the incident transpired. At the same time, please also note yung paggamit ng jargons. Okay, ano yung mga jargons? Yung mga specific terms na ginagamit for specific situation or specific circumstance. Okay, let's say for example, para hindi naman maging mahalay sa report, yung salitang instead of saying sex in your report, you will write having carnal knowledge with the victim. Para hindi, para mas maging appropriate yung pagkakasulat ng report. Okay? Pangalawa, it is also important that when you are writing narrative or writing the actual report is that it is appropriate and accurate. Okay? Tama yung informasyon, tama yung data na inilalagay mo sa iyong report. And lastly is proofreading. Okay, ano yung proofreading? I-check mo kung tama ba yung pinaglalagay mo. Okay, maayos ba yung pagkaka-organize or pagkakalatag ng mga impormasyon? At higit sa lahat, tama ba ang grammar? Okay? Now, ano ba yung tense ng verb na ginagamit natin pagdating sa report writing? Dahil nangyari na, it should be written in past tense. Okay? Past tense. Okay? Pagdating sa report, the tense of the verb should be in past tense. Okay? Kasi nangyari na or nakalipas na. Kaya dapat siya ay past tense. So, ano ba yung basic na subject-verb agreement? Therefore, dapat yung mga articles na ginagamit natin was or were. Ano yung past tense ng verb? Na verb plus or yung verb plus ed or ed or past tense ng verb. Okay? So, kailan natin ginagamit ang was? Kapag singular yung sinusundan na noun. Okay? Halimbawa, the suspect was. Okay? Kailan ginagamit yung were? Kapag marami yung noun or yung pronoun. Okay? They were running towards, etc., etc. Okay? So, yun yung importance ng proofreading. Okay. So, the organization of the report should be chronological. Okay? Hindi siya katulad ng creative writing na pwede mag-flashback. So, pagdating sa gitna ng report, biglang nag-flashback. O kaya pagdating sa end ng report, biglang nag-flashback. No, it has to be chronologically arranged. Okay, so what are the objectives of report writing? So, the report writing should be fair, accurate, impartial, and not opinionated. Hindi ka nagagawa ng dyaryo para ilabas ang iyong feelings. However, you can write your recommendation dun sa end ng iyong final report. Okay, so word usage, the police officer can use slang, okay, which is understandable in the language of the police or law enforcement. So it is appropriate to use slang in your report unless you are quoting someone. Okay? Or kapag ang ginagamit mo or ang inilalagay mong statement ay galing sa interview, you will use slang. Jargon is usually specialized language of a profession. So criminal justice professionals such as other professionals use a great deal of jargon. Okay? Next. Now, in terms of first person or third person, it pertains dun sa noun na gagamitin natin. No? Yung noun or yung, di ba, noun ay tumutukol sa people, place, animal, etc. Pangalan. So, first person and third person. So, you may write your reports in a first or third person style. Ano ba yung example ng first person? Halimbawa, I. Okay? I am reporting, I am recommending, I am, etc., etc. So, that is first person. Ngayon, pinaka-common siyang gamitin, yung first person. An alternative to that is you may use the third person. He, she. For example, the undersigned is a blah, 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 blah. He is determined to blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, police report should be written in an easily understandable style. And the PNP organization is catered to the third person style. So therefore, when you are writing a report, you will not use, halimbawa, I am recommending or I recommend to, but rather he or she is recommending or he recommends, etc., etc. Okay? Paragraphing. Okay? Paragraph is a group ng madaming sentence that tells us about an idea. Okay? So, steps in paragraph writing. Your notes provides the key or topics sa iyong notes. And then, use a paragraph in a 12 to 15 word sentences. So, hindi kailangan sobrang haba. It has to be brief and concise. Maikli, pero naandun na lahat nung kailangan mong sabihin. Paragraphs in police reports generally have 5 to 7 sentences or approximately 100 words. However, it is acceptable in the police report to write 1 or 2 sentence paragraphs. Okay? So, kailan ba tayo gumagamit ng 1 or 2 sentence paragraph? Okay? Example nito, this is a 1 sentence paragraph. Ginagamit natin siya especially if kailangan natin mag-transition from one topic to another. So, commonly ginagamit yung 1 to 2 sentences. Or, we use 1 to 2 sentences if we wanted to conclude a a paragraph. Okay? Or wanted to conclude a report. Okay? So, elements of paragraphing, there has to be unity, coherence, okay? Unity or preserve the unity of the paragraph. A paragraph should only develop one topic or isa lang yung dinidiscuss mo dun sa paragraph. Kung meron ka pang kasunod na gustong i-discuss, putulin mo yun na yung unang paragraph and then magsulat ka ng panibagong paragraph. Okay? Coherence, compose the paragraph so it is coherently or madaling maintindihan or well-organized yung report. Okay? Development. Kinakailangan din na may bahagdan or pagkakasunod-sunod yung paragraph or yung report. For example, yung first paragraph is common naman siya, first paragraph is the introduction, second paragraph the body, third paragraph is the conclusion. In the context of the police report writing, kailangan unang paragraph pa lang, makikita mo na yung 5 Ws and 1 H. The details, makikita mo siya sa gitna or sa body. And your recommendation should be in the concluding paragraph. Okay? So what are the purposes of written reports? To preserve knowledge, to provide accurate details, to aid personnel and other agencies, and to coordinate the activities within the organization. So ano daw ang itsura or qualities of a good report? So number 1, a good report ay kinakailangan tama, makatotohanan, or accurate. Walang mali, especially sa content and context. Okay? Pag sinabi natin context, kung tungkol saan. No? So, your report must be solely based on facts and without errors. So, for example, sa pag-identify ng facts, kailangan ma-establish yung body of the crime sa inyong report or yung corpus delicti. So, you may restrict your report to the facts of the incident as you saw or as the victims or witnesses reported to you. Okay? So, kinakailangan din that you accurately report the conditions na nakita sa crime scene. And kailangan din na identified mo din, for example, nag-report sa yung witness.
18 na.
So, kailangan mo din i-identify kung
17.
siya ba ay tumawag, siya ba ay pumunta sa opisina to report the incident, or ikaw yung nag-respond doon at yung witness ay in-interview mo. Number 2, kinakailangan siya ay klaro. So, the language and format of your report must be simple and direct to the point. Readers can easily understand the content and the context of your report. So, as much as we want to avoid jargons and slangs, may instances na kailangan natin siyang gamitin, especially if it is technical terms such as buy-bust operation or dragnet operation. No? So, acceptable naman siya. However, unnecessary jargons should be avoided. Okay? Let's say, for example, instead of saying wooden mechanical device used to remove dirt in your teeth, di sabihin mong toothpick. Okay? So, it has to be clear. It has to be complete. So, yung na 5 cardinal questions na kailangan masagot dyan. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay? It must contain the elements of the offense and your probable cause para i-detain or hulihin yung isang suspect. Okay? It has to be concise. So this means that your report should be or should have as few words as possible, yet it has to be accurate. Okay? Next is factual. Kailangan siya ay makatotohanan. Okay, so your report must have facts correctly and without error. Avoid reporting opinion, inference, or drawing to conclusion, or assumption or supposition, or include hearsay as though they were facts. And it has to be objective. Kailangan both sides of the story ay kasama or nasasaklaw noong report. You must not be influenced by any personal biases. Okay? And it has to be prompt. Na kailangan hindi natutulog yung reports. Spot report, kailangan after 3 hours, meron ka ng spot report. And as soon as you are going through with your case, kailangan nag-progress report ka na. And once that you solve the case, kailangan may final report ka na. So, hindi pwedeng matutulog ang inyong papel sa angkungan. Okay, so let us pass this. Okay. So, memorandum type of communication. So, this is also known as inter-office communication. Okay? As what I have said a while ago, pag memorandum, type of communication, dapat sa loob lang yan ng organization. Okay? So, technically, memorandum type of